Yeah. You would see something like there'd be a baseball grenade next to a teddy bear in the dirty shit water toilet, and you would go down to pick it up and then accidentally drink the shit water. It would say like press E to drink, and it would just go, and you're like, no,
Don't drink that.
And then your rads go like,
start vomiting everywhere.
Did you sell your G7?
No. Oh, so I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
I would be using it, but I don't like how it splits up the files. It's a wicked pain in the ass. If we do long form,
how do you fix it? Tell us. No.
Why does it do that? Is it file structure?
So, funny story. It's actually a tariff avoidance thing. So, like the way you tax a video cam, like the way,
really,
yeah,
it's the business.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
So that's also has to do with the cost. So figure like a photo camera comes when all these photo cameras started doing video, they didn't know how to tax them. They were like, oh, just a photo camera, and they were like, well, it can't record video. So then whoever the tariff commission has had to say, okay, 30 minutes is the maximum. So they all record 29.9 whatever minutes, and then they start a new clip.
No shit. So that's what keeps the price low.
Yeah,
partially. That's one of the.
A lot of people used to like jailbreak Canons to get rid of it.
We did that, but it modifies it. It doesn't completely get rid of it. So now instead of stop recording, it'll continue, but you still get the clips.
Yeah, there's like extra clips.
You could probably even just honestly. Do you have one of those little dongles? I have on my bag. The HDMI to USB dongles that people are used for streaming.
Oh yeah, I could get
you just send the HDMI out, you just record the HDMI stream, like fuck the card and everything.
Just onto the computer.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
Or
like
you
OBS or something.
So wait, how do you keep the camera on? Doesn't it have like an auto shutdown, or is there a setting?
No, the camera stays on to the clip that closes out.
Oh, okay.
So it just cuts the clip and says like, nope, no more. But if you have like, there's even like the Atomos recorders. Yeah. You can get those. Those will record as long as the thing has battery life. But you guys already have computers that could, technically you need a capture card, but like
we have capture cards. We would just run into OBS and just record that.
Yeah, way. I was always going to say OBS right in.
Yeah,
easy peasy.
Yeah, we should try that. Get one of those adapters. That'd probably be a way to go. What are the connections on those cameras? Is it mini HDMI?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, MIDI HDMI
to whatever.
Yeah, just buy a long ass cable,
plug it in.
Yeah, because otherwise, the last two we did were like 4 hours. So it's like, I'm not going to go in and stitch all the shit together. It's a pain in the ass. Where I could just have ProRes fucking video and RAW and just do it that way as one chunk.
And not just giving you one solid file.
One solid file. Or we'll stop it for pee breaks and smoke breaks or whatever. And then I'll just continue. And
why'd you point at me?
Because we don't smoke. We smoke the fancy shit. The manly shit.
Did you buy a V-mount battery too?
Dude, that's the best fucking thing I've ever bought.
That lasts so long.
I got two of them. I got another one in there.
The brick.
Cheap though.
Is it V-mount or gold mount?
I think it's V.
It's cheap mount.
Tell me. Yes.
Well, no,
but it works good. It's a P mount.
A lot of guys buy V mount because you'll see stuff on there. A lot of things just take V mount. Like I think Sony owns V mount. But technically, East Coast is gold mount. West Coast is V mount.
What's the difference?
So remember,
what's the difference?
What's the deal with the V mount?
Patrick Seinfeld.
Patrick.
What's the deal with sponges?
I'm just imagining Patrick with like a little like floofy Jerry mid-90s mullet on. SpongeBob.
Kramer lifts the rock and comes in.
Or he's just Squidward's house.
Yeah.
The V mounts are so I've been told that there's a lot of old school ops in I guess the East Coast primarily, but they prefer the gold mount because there's like the 3 little pins. So you'll see old school ops like grab the back of the battery and pan the camera from there, right? Which sounds stupid as fuck. It's dumb. But with the V mounts, they would come dislodged. They'd shut the whole camera down. So they were like, we hate these.
So it locks in.
So they would try to move it and it would pull the battery out essentially.
Dude, that's so risky.
Yeah.
That seems stupid.
It's not... I get... you remember on Uncanny, I had those long ass handles in the back. Mm-hmm. The idea is that like, if you want to grab from a center nodal point, right, you could have it off the back. So the instinct is quickly just go and like and pan off of there.
So on the topic of cameras and all that, what got you involved with that, Nick?
What got me involved?
Yeah, like how'd you get involved in this whole thing?
Boy, I mean, I was funny enough. You know what it was? I was Christmas time, and this now defunct, sadly, old art center that was in my hometown. Like I don't know about you guys, but like elementary school, middle school, high school art programs were garbage.
Yeah, they still are, I'm sure. I think they get pushed them out, a lot of them, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Especially music.
And there was one, they were like trying to show, it was like some winter fun time festival thing you used to do in my hometown. And you like go around different places and like try food or whatever else. And there was an art center that had a dude that was like, he'll draw any fucking Pokemon card. And I was like, I was probably in second grade. I was like, that's fucking sick. I didn't say that, obviously. But, but
That's fucking sick.
yeah, I was like, fucking, yes. But
you're still walking over
he
there.
like drew whatever I wanted. And then I was like, he's like, do you want to take some home? Like he had like 8.5 by 11 printout sheets of like a blank Pokemon card. I know this is unrelated to video. Basically what happened was he was running cartooning classes at this art studio. And then I started taking those illustration classes in like third grade. And then I found out he was doing video classes, but it was for like older kids.
Right.
It was like for fifth grade up. And I was in third grade. And I was like, I want to get in on that. Like, that sounds cool as shit. Literally just I wanted to make a movie where like I was James Bond. I just wanted to like shoot henchmen and then like, yeah. So we did classes with my buddy Pat and I. He went to school for the same thing. I went to school for film and video. And then I think since Pat and I were doing classes with this guy, Rob King, out of Clinton, Connecticut for, fifth grade until probably high school. And we got to a point where we were pretty much running the class with him. And then I think by the time we got to high school, me and my buddy Pat were both like, yeah, we're going to go do filmmaking. That's what we want to do. But that's the problem was like my middle school art program was garbage. If I didn't have that,
Right.
I don't know if I have some like social science degree or something garbage. Not saying that my film and video degree does anything for me, but you know, it's like, it started off with, I remember there's like that mystique. I mean, you probably remember that, like picking up your parents' like VHS camera.
That's where it all starts always.
Yeah. And they give it to you and you're like, they're like, you can rewind it and then film it backwards. And it looks like you're falling, but you're jumping. I'm like, what the fuck?
When you had all those built-in effects. Remember that shitty mirror effect that every camcorder had where you could split half of the frame into like that reverse?
I think that was before VHS though. That was before the VHS though. The VHS.
Was it?
I don't think
The
VHS
DV cams?
had the DV cams had the built-in effects.
Well, so you could probably look this up and find a picture of it. But do you guys remember Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network having a commercial for what was called a digital blue?
No, I don't remember.
Maybe.
So it was like
I watched them religiously, but I forget
it was like an all-in-one, like a stick.
Mm-hmm.
It like you hit a little trigger and you would like record video.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't even see what you were recording. It was a rangefinder. So it was just a piece of fucking glass, like a little rubber eye loop.
Yeah.
And I got one for Christmas. And my brother and I and a neighbor kid started just making movies. And I recently found you can download the editing software that it came with. It is, it's so archaic, but it's also like made easy and fun for kids. It was like a lot of just like pre-keyed explosions, which was like crazy back then. This is like, God, what year? 2000.
Early
2002.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pre-keyed drag and drop explosions was like.
When did XP come out?
That's like
Windows XP.
that's
Was
like
that
fucking,
early
that's like
2000s?
built-in like little After Effects that you can put on videos.
Yeah, like those shitty like drag and drop assets.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like they worked and they were key. Oh, and they had the sound sunk to them. So if you dragged an explosion,
Well, they had sound with it,
yeah.
so it's a video, essentially.
Well, it's a pre-keyed like alpha.
Pre-keyed video.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, even now, if you go Action Essentials pack and like made my head blow up right now,
You have to add in your own shit. Yeah.
like whatever's
Yeah.
on that.
It wouldn't have the audio already there, kind of thing.
So it made it really easy as a kid just to be like, oh man, we shoot my neighbor James's playhouse and then it explodes. And like you would just drag it on. But we found out early on you could like because I was messing with it recently because I was like, how did I even manage to figure this out? Like I remember back in the day, I was making video games in PowerPoint, which basically meant I was programming like a point and click adventure. Yeah. Like, you guys ever play Sega CD?
No, but I've played enough point and click adventures in my day.
Yeah. It's just really simple, shows you a graphic. It has some sort of button that activates the next scene.
Yeah.
Like I would make games in PowerPoint and that like barely
You
work.
could play them or they were just slides? Could you interact with them?
It was like Duck Hunt. I should find some. I have them somewhere, but it'd be like a frame and then like a dude would pop up. And if you clicked on him in enough time, then it raised your counter for points, which took like way too much programming. But I was trying to figure out how I got this stuff in Digital Blue to work. And my brother and I think I found it first. You could keyframe layer, like you could skip one frame forward and put another explosion. So whatever you dropped it in, it was just there in the timeline. You could go there and delete it. If you stacked like 50 of them, keyframe after keyframe, it just made a machine gun explosion. And it was just like, but it was like green or something.
Yeah.
You remember in The Sims?
Dude, I knew right away when someone's like, hey, my computer's having problems. Can you take a look at it? And there's like 10 toolbars in their browser. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Yeah. What is bingo/73?
It was a free offer. It said $1 million and click install.
Oh, they told me I needed an antivirus software, so I installed it.
Yeah, whenever they install something, they just check off all those offers and they just download all the toolbars and shit. It's like, really?
No, they just hit the next button. They don't even look at what's there. Yeah. Okay, next, finish.
It was... you remember The Sims? There was like the building music.
Oh yeah, I love it. You hate it.
I hate it. I fucking hate it. The song that
I should put it on.
Well, because I would spend hours to the point where my people would die. Like I would spend hours building, forget they exist, and then be like, "Why is there a dead guy in the bathroom?" But like build these immaculate houses, and it played so long in my head. It was like even as a little kid, it was obnoxious. So I was like, I'm gonna like I kind of understood how like audio files worked. I'm like, I'm gonna go into the program files and
modify it
and modify the song, right?
Yeah, that's what I used to do.
So, I mean, if you know any basic encoding for that, like technically I should have been able to go in there and remove the song. It was I think it was the 4 days of the Motorhead song I downloaded. I tried to put into there to replace, named it the same file type, everything.
Yeah.
But it must have had a checksum for like the size of the file because the game just crashed immediately. As soon as like, the little intro that would play, that was like a video of like some guy building a big brick house. It would play that and just fucking bonk. Like dead.
Goodbye.
No Sims for you today.
Yeah, I used to, when we were in a band years ago, I used to put our music on the radio in there and they'd be dancing our music we'd be playing. I downloaded like all of System of a Down. My neighbor was Serge. He'd walk over and get in my hot tub. And you'd hear the band in the background.
In what, Sims 3?
Sims 2.
Sims 2.
2. Yeah, 3 started to kind of slow down with the mods. I think 2 is the best.
I think 4 is like no more mod. Like you can download
2 is my favorite.
Mod it.
There's
you could get crazy with it.
I remember like using like Homestar Runner and like there was some site that was like Newgrounds that had more stuff and it was like burgundy purple colored like layout. No one I know hasn't been able to tell me what the fuck that was. I don't remember what the fuck it was. But there was a site for, I think it was the Sims forums for
like Fallout had Nexus. Like something like that?
Not even mods. It was like their community page, right?
Oh, okay.
So like they would advertise it in the booklet, like go to
it was EA's thing or whatever the company was.
Probably. But the thing was, once you got in there, the forums were like massive, and there was people that were like, they would basically do. I wouldn't even call it like a machinima, but they would make little like web comics inside the game. Like they would like take a bunch of pictures of like, their characters in the game and like write a little story for it and do something. I don't think I ever made one, but I remember there was the most popular one was Bill Gates. Someone modded Bill Gates into the game who lived with Jim Carrey.
What the fuck?
I don't know. No, sorry, Drew Carey.
Okay.
So it was like...
It was a Carey, though.
It was a bad model of like Drew Carey with the glasses, and then Bill Gates, and their like adventures of living together. And I was like, who made this? Like an adult clearly made this, like modded the game and was like, this would be funny. I'll make some webcomics and post them on the Sims official forum. Or like, remember going on like, for like game guides on like GameSpot? Was it GameSpot? GameFAQs, yeah.
There was a lot of different ones.
And you would download like a 100 kilobyte like text file that just had all the stuff in it.
You gotta do this.
I remember the actual guides.
I had a lot of them.
I did too. Yeah, they were thin. They had some thin ones.
You would get them on pre-order bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
So if you pre-ordered a game, you usually would get.
That's so funny.
Which is even more embarrassing. I think I bought game guides up until 2011.
Yeah.
I mean, Zelda had a pretty big game guide.
I have guides because I like that. Like some of them come with posters, and like the Fallout guides are really cool. They had all kinds of cool shit that you would never think of.
The last one I bought was
New Vegas.
New Vegas,
yeah. And I have 3. It's like fucking. It's like a Bible.
Well,
yeah.
So that was when the Wikipedias were taking off. You could like go hop in, and someone would just archive everything, right?
Yep.
And the problem was in the game guide, it was like, in this bathroom, they would write down all the pieces of loot in a row.
It's impressive the amount of work that
they were wrong though. They were wrong. They were wrong. So I was like, I paid what, like $60.
It's still impressive.
No, so it was this specific. I was fucking pissed because I was like, you paid $60 for it. Like I should be able to find all the loot to like complete, everything. Find the weird little developer things they had in there. Mm. It was in like this bathroom, and I'm like looking at the loot. It's like jet grenade here. And then I'm looking around the bathroom, and you remember how like all the toilets are just fucking like broken and full of shit water? Yeah. The top of one of the toilets in like what do you call that? The top plate of the toilet.
I don't know. The top plate of the toilet.
The lid?
The lid?
No. The shit lid. Hey kid, move the shit up.
The upper deck lid.
The upper deck lid. Yeah. It was shifted off. And for some reason, I jumped up on the toilet and looked down, and there was a fucking like, what was that called? Medex?
Yeah. Yeah, the shot.
Yeah, some developer hid that in there. And I'm like looking in the guide, I'm like, no.
It does not say.
It can't be. And I'm like, this book is fucking, I think I sold it immediately. I was like, this is garbage. Because then Wikipedia, they're like, yeah, there's, this in here. So then the problem was when Fallout 4 came out, I was so used to raiding bathrooms and hopping on the toilet seat. So I would go in a bathroom, hop on the toilet seat, look over the lid and be like, is there anything? And like, I think I've never found anything in the top.
It's just a habit now. It's
ever since.
It's
hilarious.
It was just one of those things. It was like, in that game, I don't know. I mean, I'm a hoarder.
In games or in life or both?
Yeah,
a little bit of both.
You're at home jumping on your lid just to make sure.
Where is it?
Where are my keys?
I'm just fucking drunk and lost and just stomping on the fucking seat like, where is it?
Show it to me.
No, that was the best part of that was like you would see something like there'd be a baseball grenade next to a teddy bear in the dirty shitwater toilet, and you would go down to pick it up and then accidentally drink the shit water. It would say say like press E to drink, and it would just go, and you're like, no,
don't drink that.
And then your rads go like,
start vomiting everywhere.
no, he's cool. Imagine that though, like you see something and you're like, okay, I'm gonna pick up Andy's glass or pick up the headphones, and I just like pour the drink on myself. And I'm like, oh, damn it. Like,
fuck this up.
Not again. I almost bought the new anniversary edition of Skyrim.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
What's the deal with new Skyrim? I already played it.
Mods?
It's no. So it's when they started doing the community run mods. So it was like they would hire developers from Nexus that were doing like full gun reskins and be like, okay, we're going to pay you. You're going to make a mod. It's going to be to our quality standard. Our guys are going to test it. And then we're going to put it on a store and charge microtransaction currency for it. Mm. So everyone that already had, Skyrim came out 10 years ago.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's insane. Right?
It's been a while. Yeah.
And these were coming out maybe 5 years ago. And it's like, who's still playing Skyrim enough where they're like, I'm going to spend 500 Bethesda bucks on... People did.
Yeah.
So the new version has all of the stuff that those commission guys made in it for like, I think it's like $30, all the DLC, all of the Creative Club content, they call it. And I remember I was reading through all the I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm reading through all the content. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm like reading through, like, I should just, you guys played Skyrim, right?
It's like when you go to the mall and you don't need anything and you leave with a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's my thing. If they announce the new game and we're like, and fucking Todd Howard on his little fucking ivory tower was like, here's a demo of the new, like, then I usually go back and play the old game to get myself like hyped for the new one. Yeah. So I don't want to do it yet.
For Skyrim, I always like the music and the world more than the game itself.
Yeah.
I like the, Fallout, I like. It has the classic Bethesda quirks to it,
Mm-hmm.
but overall, I like the game experience more than Skyrim, I would say. But I do love the world they built, and the music is like they blew it out of the water or whatever the fuck the term is.
It was something. I found I put it this way: it's like Oblivion playing for a long amount of time hurts your eyes, like physically hurt. It's so fucking bright. Everything has like a bloom and a glow on it.
Oh yeah.
And Skyrim is so dead and desolate, it like makes you want to fall asleep.
Mhm.
So like,
It's very soothing. It's like a big meditation game.
both
You can just explore, and the music's there, and the nature is nice. And
You're
you're
like, this is good.
and then you get some random asshole coming up to you and trying to kill you for no reason.
For Skyrim.
Yeah, he just yells Skyrim and starts stabbing you.
I think actually, to be fair, Oblivion's the only.
I never
game-
played it. It's the one I haven't
What?
played. Yeah,
I haven't played Oblivion.
We should
either.
sit
Yeah.
down and play.
I
Oblivion.
played all the other ones.
We could play Oblivion.
What if I stand up and play it? Does that
No,
count? It doesn't count. What if I kneel? Come on now.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You would.
You'd have to nail on a
It's
plank of wood.
it's one of those games that like, you know when people tell you they haven't played like Fallout or Skyrim,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I envy you for the first time. Playing
Yes,
that.
that's how I feel.
That's how I feel about Oblivion.
Oh, okay.
But Oblivion's I think the only game I have ever 100%ed.
Wow.
Like not like for achievements, like literally done every quest.
Wow.
To the point where I was like, I could just walk around and kill bears or something. Like that'd be
Yeah.
neat.
Now what?
Well, it was funny because when did that game come out?
I don't know. I never played it.
A good while ago.
Christ.
It's at least been over 10 years for sure.
It was before I graduated high school. So let's say it's like 2006, maybe even earlier. 2008.
When did you graduate?
When did you graduate?
2010, yeah.
10, yeah, he's 1 year younger than me.
Oh, okay.
So figure, I remember there was a kid in our English class that was like, I mentioned it. I was like, yeah, I just rented this game Oblivion from Blockbuster. And I was like, playing.
We're going that far back.
That's how old I am. That's right.
Blockbuster. That was the
Brick
thing.
and mortar,
baby.
No, because you guys remember what happened with Blockbuster game rentals. You would rent a movie, right? Which was like,
They wanted you to rewind it.
Even if it was a DVD.
If it was a DVD, you had to rewind the
they
DVD.
make you spin it back. How much was like a DVD rental from Blockbuster?
Like,
I don't
$12, $10.
12? No way.
I don't
Maybe.
even remember.
Was
It
it?
had to be like $3 with like
Really?
It might have got to that point. I remember PlayStation 1 rentals. So I mean,
Well, I think there was some sort of program before they disappeared. That was like every month you got like 5 movies and 3 games. So my brother and I would split it. He would get some fucking garbage sports game. I would get something random, and then we would both get like something together we could play. Because otherwise that would end in like tears and fighting.
Dude, every time. Is this game 2-player? No.
This sucks.
bullshit. This is a multiplayer.
So but that was the most disappointing thing as a kid was you would rent like the 3 free. It's like my mother's not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to pay whatever the rental price is. We would rent some game, and then my brother and I'd be like, this is terrible. And then you could return it, right?
Yeah.
But I remember I rented Oblivion, and this like neckbeard kid in my class was like, oh, that game? He's like, I played for so long that it burnt an image of a sword into my television screen. And I remember that thinking to myself, I was like, what about this game makes you play for so long that it burns an image of a sword into your screen? And then I started playing and I was like, oh my God, like, what have I done? Like,
I would do that in my brain.
But
with certain games.
then you
I'd see
realize he was using a plasma TV.
it was burning in.
And it actually burnt it into his TV.
it. Was he just standing still for hours at a time? Like, how the fuck
All
does
the
that
loading
happen?
screens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just imagining. Well, he said it was a katana. Like you have, I'm not going to ruin any of the game for you. It's fucking 20 years old, but
I might never play it. I want to in another lifetime.
His
but,
computer might not be able to handle it. All right.
yeah, I might never. Do that. Well, actually, to be honest,
I might have to play on a 480.
someone's remastering it in the Skyrim engine.
Really?
Oh, no
It's
shit.
called Skyblivion, and they've been working on it for
Skiblivian.
Skyblivion.
Skiblivion.
Skiblivion.
But there's like
That's nice.
there's some early on quest they give you a fucking katana, and he's like, yeah, I have a katana burnt into my screen, and I was like, assuming that he was just like over encumbered,
Might be burnt into his eye.
just sees a katana in the corner of his face.
Oh, what's
Yeah,
going
that's
on,
Sky.
guys? I have this cat eye.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like the combat's garbage. It's awful. I mean, Fallout 3's combat's garbage.
It's Bethesda combat.
So why were those games so good? At the same time,
It's the world. I think it's the world. It's the world. It's the world, and it's Jeremy Soule. That's it.
making
Those
you feel
two together. That's what it is. And Guild Wars is the same shit. The same composer.
The fact that there's main missions and side quests, you go and do the side quests, and then it just is so much longer than what you need to actually be.
Yeah. But there's games that fail at that too.
Yeah.
There's games. There's games I would not play again for their side quests.
Right.
Oh, there's a lot of games.
Yeah.
I would say what always comes up is The Witcher 3 because their side quests are like main quests as far as story goes.
My old roommate played it. I never played it.
Solid. Their side quests actually have depth to the story. It's wild. It seems like something surface level, and as you get in, you start uncovering shit. You're like, "This is a side quest? What the fuck?"
It's like
it's cool, man. It's cool, and they're not all alike. Like a lot of games suffer from that, where it's like collect 5 of these things and bring it back. It's like a chore. It's like errand simulator.
It's the 3. It's fetch quest, right? Mm-hmm. Fetch quest is the easiest thing to make in a game, right?
Yeah, pluck 5 daisies and bring them back to.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Coding it, they don't have to do much. They don't have to. They literally code. Yeah. They code in. If you have 5 of this in your inventory, you complete the quest.
Yeah,
and then they go around that and make like a dumb little story.
But if you already have it, like for whatever reason, if you went out and collected these pieces of flour already, it's like quest completed. You're like good.
That gives me like the biggest game boner.
Yeah, you're like
when you're playing a game and he's like, you need 15 emeralds. I'm like,
guess what?
Bitch.
I got 15 emeralds.
Guess what? As soon as I talk to you again, I'm going to complete this.
It's like someone's about to hire you to do something, you're like, dude, work's already been done.
I saw
way ahead of you.
I wish I could remember the name of it. Some guy did a like a TikTok thing on like NPCs in Skyrim being like, I'd like to sell you this sword. And he's like, oh, the sword that was in the barrel outside of my shop. And he's like, yeah, that sword. He's like, that's my sword. He's like, well, no, it's mine. And he's like, well, I can't afford to buy that sword. He's like, well, I'll just buy your whole inventory and then sell you the sword back. Like,
what? That's what I love in some games like that where you just collect a bunch of trash and just sell it to the merchant and they just accept all of it. You just sell it all for money. It's like, oh, nice.
Like we give so much shit to like terrible merchants and like people who are like ripoffs. And then every time you get the chance in a game to rip someone off, you're like, yeah, I'm going to buy. Let me trade you these squirrel pelts for 15. Like you're just doing Christopher Columbus shit.
Yeah. I'll give you 5 rocks for that sword.
And they're like, oh, that's a good deal.
That's quite a good
pleasure doing business with you. Okay. I gave you a handful of dirt for fucking medicine.
What you got, boy?
And like people will say they're exploits, but like at some point, there's always with any game with an in-game economy. Not like I'm not talking about like microtransactions. There is going to be an exploit
in-game game money. Yeah.
To be fair, they've really fixed that game. It has no end game.
Which one?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Once you get to, I mean, my friends jokingly call me Space Bezos because I have like $4 billion in the game online.
Space Bezos.
But it's all
that's regular Bezos.
It's all exploits. It's like you find a way to mine cobalt, you sell cobalt, you crash a market, you buy it all back and sell it to the it's exploits, but it has to be part of
stocks.
Yeah, it's not, and it got to a point recently where it wasn't fun anymore. I was like, until they come up with new content, I'm not going to play it. But that's like you said, that's basically a fetch quest. Doing my own thing and saying, I'm going to go get cobalt, process it, sell it, buy it back. And then I'm like, I'm making my own quest. This is fun. I'm like, my God, this is just a fetch quest.
Dude, there are people who just do that forever. They just sit there and they just get money on games for no reason.
Well, have you seen like EVE Online?
No.
My friends play that and I looked at it. My buddy Jason tried to show me. I can't. It's Spreadsheet Manager, the game. And he's like,
Excel adventures.
The game's been around for a while, so it's no fault to the developers, but it's like, he's like, dude, check out how sick my ship is. And he shows me the screen. It's all these spreadsheets. And then the ship is like the size of a dime. And he's like, yeah, we're going into the next galaxy. And the ship's just like moving across. It's so hard for me to tell. I'm so, from those two, from Fallout 76 and from
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I'm like so jaded. I don't even know what I want anymore. It's like,
yeah, that's why I stick to the story-driven games. I don't mind an open world. Like God of War nailed it. Their open world was big enough. It wasn't insane.
Should I?
It's phenomenal.
Probably.
It's phenomenal.
The new one?
The new one.
Absolutely.
It's on Epic, right?
It's sick.
It's on Steam now.
Is it?
Yeah, dude. It's absolutely.
They got it on Steam now.
How many?
Boy. It's so good.
How many came out?
Atreyu.
Three of them came out for PlayStation 2.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I played all 3 of them.
Those are fun. It's not like them at all.
I know.
No, it's completely.
It's more like a Naughty Dog game.
It's like
more
Drake's,
action.
Drake's Fortune.
Yes.
It's
Kratos Unlimited.
It's more like open world kind of idea.
It's less linear than Uncharted is, but it has the story elements and the acting, and then it's the worlds are beautiful. They're phenomenal.
Okay.
It's really good.
It's
I've just been skipping PC games. I don't know. Skipping console games.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, since I moved, my console has not been unwrapped out of bubble wrap. It's like,
what did you have?
PS4. But the longer you have the console away, you just don't feel like setting it up again.
My PS4 just randomly died.
My PC's right here.
I've been
fucking sitting there gathering wine.
I've been just gathering games on PC. So
But here's the problem. So my friends and I got laid off beginning of lockdown. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
We started doing Discord like all the time.
Yeah, we had that run too.
And the problem is with PC games, the new thing comes out, and everyone's like, buy. And then we're all playing that. And then 3 months later, we're like,
this is shit.
Well, no, it's the new thing. It's not even like the game went down. It's just like the new, like we were playing Phasmophobia every night for like a month, 2 months.
Which one is that?
You Hunt Ghosts.
Yeah, that looked good. Is it good?
It's really fun with friends.
It looked good.
It would not be fun by yourself. The only reason it's fun with friends is because your boys that are going to pussy out. It's also, you can play it in VR.
Oh, I love the horror shit. I'm all about it.
Your boys that are going to pussy out you're going to realize how scared they get quick because you get like, basically they give you a house. It's a kind of a random generated house. You go around the house. You have like tools you have to like pay money for to bring into the ghost hunt. So you have like a thermometer or like what else? A camera to.
Is it like Battle Royale where they randomly give you it, or are you assigned it? So you pick a role.
There's really no. It's literally just like however many people in your party. You can purchase stuff at the marketplace before you go in.
Like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, and then but there's no weapons.
Right, but gear wise.
Yeah. So it's basically like the only preventative weapon I think is like a crucifix you can use to like stop from a door closing, which makes I go in there
that's
like
so metal.
Fucking Jesus.
Do you hold it upside down or sideways and shit? You hold it like a gangster, you're fucking condemning the demons back from whence they came.
So it's funny, you can turn on I forget what it's called, but it's something that like analyzes your microphone. So you have to talk to the ghost or deep. I mean, you've seen these terrible ghost hunting shows, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to be so into them.
If there's anyone in here.
Once the veil is lifted, you cannot go back.
So what would happen is like, what you're supposed to do is like, they give you the name before the mission. It's like Sally Mae.
Sally Mae what?
Yeah. Sally Mae.
So you go in the house and then you start saying
Sally
that. And
Mae.
then we would play throughout the night and get progressively like, people will get fucking like drunk and high, and then all of a sudden we're just yo, Sally Mae, you got a nice ass, and then like the ghost would start killing people, and then all of a sudden we're like like screaming and running out of there.
So you can antagonize it and it gets crazier. That's hilarious.
I think from like your vocal patterns, if you're very like calm and you're like, hey, were you hurt? Were you hurt in this room? They're like they'll show you signs.
That's pretty cool.
If you start fucking with them, they'll start just like killing, and like in the game, I know you can play it in VR. You just see fingers come around the front of your face, and then it goes black, and then they snap your neck.
Do they get sexy?
The ghosts?
Yeah. If you're like, hey, you're looking good tonight, baby.
Just try to seduce the ghosts.
You want to come over here and
just
touch my UV meter? Dude. Oh yeah.
Hey baby, you want to shoot some ectoplasm all over this for me?
I find it funner too when like, a lot of people are playing games. You're like, dude, just get everyone involved, and it's always a funner experience than doing it single.
But the funny thing is, like, that was probably like a $15 game, and we probably touched it. Like, I think we touched it at Halloween time. We're like, oh, it'll be fun to play it.
Yeah,
but then you never touch it again.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, it's done.
I mean, that's kind of how it was with physical media, though. You wouldn't put the disc in your console for like, no, I'm done playing Gran Turismo 4.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just gonna pull that out now and just put it on the shelf and look at it and be like, oh, that was a game.
I'm trying to think, what are we playing now? We've been playing Ready or Not.
Ready or Not.
What's that?
So you are
Sounds fancy.
It's still in beta or not alpha. I think it's in beta. And you play, I think it's a 5-person max crew. You're police SWAT. So you're doing like raids, like hostage situations or whatever.
Like SWAT. Remember that game? SWAT. You ever play that?
It was a PS2 game?
Ready or Not.
It might have been PC.
I might have seen a trailer for that.
You probably saw it because everyone keeps doing these clips where they're like, You hit F. So you're police. You can't just like shoot people.
Right.
You have to.
That's not realistic.
It's well,
There's limitations.
you have to hit F, which does like a voice line. I think you can program it to do your actual voice.
That's how SWAT was too. You could talk to the and then if they wouldn't listen, then you could just wire tie them. Like you could fucking zip tie them.
So it's kind of like that. You would like yell at them. You say like, they'll yell like, "Get down! Put the gun on the ground!" And then like people will drop. But it's fucking scary because like we were doing a hotel one. There was like a valet or something, and she puts her hands up. She looks like a civilian, and then she pulls out like a fucking Glock from her ass and just starts shooting at it. And then like my buddy, like you just die. Like it's real. It's not like
it's like a Tom Clancy game. There's no hope.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys played Rainbow Six.
Oh yeah, it's hard. Rainbow
Siege.
Six is hard.
Siege. Oh yeah.
I got really good. That was the game I started quarantine with. I got really good at Siege.
I hate Siege.
And I can't play it. I can't play it anymore.
I played it on console and I was like, I can't with this.
You played it on console first?
Yeah.
I heard from people I knew that played both that the console players weren't as try hard as the PC guys, because the PC guys were like.
Oh, actually, I watched my other two cousins play on PC, and actually three, and then occasionally they still go on there and play.
The mouse is the way to go with those.
But
so
you
hard.
get the people with the cheats on PC, so it's like
there's definitely the cheaters on PC were limited by I think 2 years ago. The bigger problem was guys that knew micro exploits.
yeah.
So there'd be like a guy like you've seen that game before, right, Matt?
Rainbow Six Siege.
So there's
The Sims. I'm still back like 20 minutes ago.
No, sorry, I'm just ripping through games right now.
No, I haven't seen it, but I played Rainbow Six, the old ones, like 3.
Yeah,
or some
Vegas
shit.
and like
The old
the old ones are really good.
my brother and I. That was when PS3 came out. We split one for $700, and the only game out for it was Siege. Or sorry, Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
And we played this shit.
$700.
It was $600 plus $100 in tax. We got smoked.
What?
My brother and I bought the boat, the original PS3, the big fat one.
Oh, I thought you meant the game.
Oh no!
I'm like, Jesus Christ, is that good?
No.
But $600.
The micro exploits in Siege were like some guy would find out that the crack under a reinforced window wouldn't break if you shot under it. So as soon as you spawned, he would see you spawn peek and then you're out for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating. I mean, I got really good to the point where I was like teaching my friends how to play, because it was one of those ones where I started playing and I was so intimidated. I was like, I can't play with them. They're going to be so good and I'm going to suck so hard. And then I played by myself for like 3 months and then was like, hey guys, you want to try playing this? And then I was like smoking them.
Is it all online?
Yeah. So it's remember the original one was like team deathmatch online, then story mode offline. I wish they did story mode because the game has characters. So it's like instead of random loadouts, you choose a character with a loadout you want. Like say I want an MP5 or I want like a fucking shotgun. You choose that character and then they have a special ability also.
Yeah.
So they'll have like one of the dudes can like reinforce doors permanently, not just temporary ones. One of the guys has what's the guy's name?
Classes.
There's one with like Thermite that can blast through those fucking heavy duty walls and shit.
So that was the thing was I started watching guys. There's a lot of guys that stream or were streaming that game that were really, really fucking good. And I would watch their clips and there was basic things in the meta for that game because it's been out for so long. I was like, oh, I didn't know this at all. So they were like, if you're reinforcing a room, don't reinforce in between like a say you have two, it's the objective based games, right? It's like 2 bombs. So there's 2 bombs, one in this room, one in the adjacent room. If you reinforce the wall between those, you can't get through.
Right.
So if some guy's disarming the bomb, now he knows you have to come down that one hallway and you're dead. And I was like, that's so mind blowing. Like that's obvious. And then it became me playing and then watching people do that and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, don't do that.
What the fuck? Stop.
Don't put that wall up.
Well, because once they do it, you can't take it down.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I mean, that's probably the most fun I had with I stopped playing Call of Duties. I did too.
Yeah,
I started playing Warzone. My buddies were, but
that's what we did. Yeah.
Warzone was okay for.
It's like anything. We had a blast the first few times we played it, and then it just got annoying.
Unfortunately, the new Battlefield, I watched other people play it, and I didn't download it because I was like, okay, this game has
it's terrible,
major issues.
It's terrible.
I was hoping for the better, but it didn't. I actually played Sandstorm. I've been playing Sandstorm, and that's actually pretty fun. It's like
which one's that?
It's like probably $15 right now.
It's a Battlefield game, or it's
kind of like Battlefield, but it's Sandstorm, and it's when you shoot someone with like a sniper or something, they die in one shot.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it.
I kind of prefer that because the bullet sponging in Warzone is the most frustrating thing.
Oh yeah.
If some guys parachuting down at you and you're
just unloading on him,
and he just you hear the plate break. You hear the plate break, but he doesn't die. You hear and then still flying at you.
Yeah,
and then he pulls out 2 like fucking sticks and just smacks you in the head.
He's like, how about this?
It's not.
Well, we played once and none of our gear would work, so we couldn't do anything.
What do you mean?
It was one of those what was those missions where you had an objective?
It was like us versus like the enemy. It was like a co-op kind of thing.
Yeah, I forget what they called it. It wasn't PvP. It was like it was a mission.
It was like almost like PvE, but it was stupid because half the shit wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's like use this, press whatever to use this, and it just wouldn't work.
What game was this?
It's Warzone.
Warzone.
What?
Yeah.
Or was it Modern Warfare? Yeah,
it was.
Warzone, right?
No, it was before the Warzone. It was
the other one.
They had Warzone in that game.
Modern Warfare 2?
Modern Warfare 2, or sorry, you were doing Modern Warfare co-op, right?
Maybe.
We were online.
It was like 2 years
It's
ago.
the one where it's the 2 of you and you have all the stuff, but you're like raiding a base or something. What's that?
It was 4 of us. It was all of us.
Okay.
But I forget what they called it, but it wasn't us versus people. It was us. You had to do a mission. It was like waves. There were waves of
Spec Ops?
Something like
It was
that.
called Spec Ops or something like that?
It might have been. It was waves of enemies, and you had to get here and do that, secure the areas and whatever. But we couldn't use our gear, so it was completely pointless. And then they brought the tanks in, and we were just getting mowed down. There was just no hope. I was up on the roof. I parachuted onto the roof, and I couldn't get down. I couldn't reach them.
Did you play the story mode for Modern Warfare?
I don't think I ever did.
I don't think I did either.
Maybe I did a little bit. No, I only got it because people were getting it. It's like you were saying, like the group we were with at the time got it, and we were all playing it, and then it kind of faded.
I think it was one of those things during lockdown where I was like, okay, I should probably do something today. If I clean my room, I'm going to reward myself and spend $60 on a game. That makes sense, right?
I'd be like, if I spend 10 minutes cleaning my room, then I can spend the next 24 hours.
I don't think a digital edition of a game should be $60 because you're not paying for the hardware.
Yeah.
Should be at least 80.
I heard someone say recently, they were like, okay, if I buy the disc, right?
Yeah.
And I have that and I'm done playing it, you know what I can do? I can still sell that disc.
Yeah.
For even $1 less than what it is on the store.
Yeah.
The convenience factor is huge, right?
It is huge.
I haven't bought, I can't even, what's the last game I bought on disc?
I couldn't tell you.
It's been a while. Everything's going so slowly
because
digital.
I can buy it at work and it's installed when I get home.
Okay. It must have been the last game I bought on disc was Fallout 4.
That's wild.
When it came out.
For console or PC?
I bought it for
consoles.
PS4 and then I built a PC after and then downloaded it.
And then you went digital anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a CD drive in my PC.
No, none of us have CD drives.
Why would I?
I know.
Those don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
it's all about getting those higher end hard drives.
They're like an NVMe.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the first lockdown happened. Wanted to play more games. Bought a 2 terabyte NVMe. Just threw it in there. Just loaded all games on it.
Yeah, it's hard to justify going out to the store where everyone sucks and trying to get a disc.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, like, I don't even know what I want anymore. But like I played. Yeah. I had a lot of fun with Cyberpunk. I did because it ran properly. And it's
I actually wanted to try that still. I think eventually I will.
You should, if you can run it. I
would. Oh, I definitely could. Yeah.
All the it became 2 things. All the people that were what?
He's like all of a sudden he's in a leather coat.
My chair just goes.
The two people that hated it were people that had consoles or bad hardware in their PC. So like you're not expecting to run. Like I'm not going to run Crysis. 10 years ago, that was the biggest.
It's still crashing computers nowadays.
Yeah,
even at full.
But also figure if you've played an open world game, and people will always say it's Bethesda. Fucking Red Dead Redemption does it too. All those open world games do it. Yeah. There are game breaking glitches and bugs.
Oh yeah,
and you're gonna find it now.
Absolutely.
My only pet peeve. I think it's funny when like someone morphs through the ground and their arms become spaghetti and octopus. Yeah. Like who sees that and doesn't laugh and goes, "I'm turning the game off." Yeah. Like
I just bullshit. Yeah, you just see the guy like this.
It's just hilarious.
I just record it. It's hilarious. Yeah, but like if the game breaks my quest where I can't turn it in,
right,
that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now I have a whole section of the game I have to restart a character for and get to that.
So maybe I don't know if you have an answer for this because I haven't found one.
Yeah.
Well, I had 2 PCs, and we were both playing The Witcher 3. And there was a specific quest where the guy stands in the doorway and he's like, all right, follow me. We got to get suited up.
Yeah.
My guy moves forward and I follow him.
Yeah.
The friend was stuck. The guy wouldn't move. He wouldn't leave the doorway. He couldn't get past him. So it was a game-breaking glitch. So then I swapped the graphics cards and it was fixed.
I think my old
What is that?
My old roommate Bill told me about that. He was having invisible enemies in it.
That I can understand because it's a render issue.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a render issue? Because it's a physical object. You can't. I mean, I guess the invisible enemies were. And by the way, on the graphics card that was junk, the enemies were invincible. You couldn't kill them.
So I remember I was messing with a lot of old like PC stuff back in the day. You remember there was a program called FPS Creator.
Sounds familiar.
It was basically different company, but basically that's how the creation engine works for Skyrim and Oblivion, those games where you can go in, you don't have to know how to code, you can just drag and drop kind of stuff. The only reason I think that would happen is because usually there's 2 states for objects or items in a game. So there'd be like a static object, which would be like the wall in like a temple in Skyrim. A dynamic object is like all of the cups, all of
things that move.
Yeah, anything that can move.
Right.
So it renders them differently. It has to render the static objects once.
Oh, I see.
It has to re-render the dynamic objects constantly. So the only reason that usually happens in games and that bugs are broken like that is because you have a change in state. You know how there's like things that are designed from the get-go that are done properly, and then there's patchwork stuff?
Yeah.
Patchwork stuff, like even for audio design, right?
Yeah.
If you're designing something and then like you're saving, like I was saying before, a movie with like terrible audio, you're doing save edits, right? If you were programming something, like most studios are going to give all the designers like an engine. So like, here's the engine, here's what the game's in, here's the main quest. Was that side quest or was it main one?
It was a main one. It was one of the early main ones too.
Wow.
It was one of the early ass ones.
That's bad.
It's like after like the prologue and all that, the tutorial shit. It was like right after that.
Because people used to complain a lot about
it was bad.
Skyrim, all of Bethesda stuff, the side quest being broken, because they would basically make their main quest this big vein throughout the game's engine and then be like tack onto this and it would break other things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, and I want to say one of them was the AMD card, the other one was NVIDIA. I don't know if that matters.
And they were both supported for the game.
They were both supported. Yeah.
Your drivers update.
I don't know. The thing is, I think my game worked, so I didn't give a shit.
I don't even have to go any farther from there.
It was just the weirdest thing.
Thank you.
Because I was like,
if your drivers weren't up to date, I can't. So
I don't remember, but I thought that was weird because I did switch the graphics cards, and then all of a sudden everything was cool. And I was like, that's interesting. I couldn't explain that one.
I've never had. So like, the worst I could show you from Cyberpunk was like, I killed this chick, and her body.
That.
She fell halfway through the ground, and then you know what clipping is, right?
Yeah, obviously.
So,
I turn it off in Fallout to get through there.
When things clip, they they try to get thrown out.
Yeah.
Like,
so you mean like omitted from rendering?
Well,
or
it wants to get them out of there. So like,
it's an eraser essentially. So like erasing.
The best example is you ever close someone's like body in a door in a game?
Yeah.
So so perfect example. The door is a static and dynamic object, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's dynamic
depending on the door.
Any moving door.
Right. Depending on the door, it could be in either state.
It's like a solid.
So you know how like in games, like it will open you up to a boss. Door opens up. You can't get back through that.
Yeah. Okay.
Once it closes,
you can't glitch back through it. It will unload the previous area.
So does it change states to a static?
Like a loading, like kind of like a deload or a
loading area, like a checkpoint.
I don't know how they code like Oblivion was the good example, but like, or Skyrim, any of those games. If you drop a body in the ground, or actually a lot of games, you close a door on them, what's going to happen is that object it's going to be dynamic. It's going to push them with whatever physics engine they have. So it's going to push the body. Usually what happens is the body gets stuck in the door frame. And then when it becomes a static object, that object is saying it cannot move. So like, right, if that object was dynamic, it would throw the fucking door back and forth and then chuck the person out. But usually what happens is the person who's still a dynamic object in the game will just start breaking because they can't, like if a leg gets all the way out or say their head gets unlodged, they'll pop out and like fall on the ground.
Yeah.
But usually if you close someone's head in a game on like in a door, the door will close because it's coded to close and become a static object. It's not interacting with physics. It's just
Right.
making physics for the other pieces.
It's making the solid wall essentially.
Yeah. And then once it's closed, you have that dynamic object just like, that's how you see like those spaghetti arms and
They're like,
everything.
you see them glitching in the wall.
So
like
it's locked in
Yeah.
to that.
So once you open it, most times if you notice, like try it next
They
time
slide out.
they'll pop out.
Yeah.
Try, next time you're in a game, try it. Like most times it'll pop out. So
It's like confetti.
what happened in Cyberpunk was that she fell. I shot her. Her legs went through the ground. I don't know, from her death animation. You fuck. He's like time stamping this right now. You fuck. Her legs went through the ground, and then it was trying to throw her out of the ground because it was just like her legs were stuck. So it was just making her like twerk, like on the sidewalk. But that's like the worst I saw. Like,
Yeah.
it's.
And there were some crazy glitches people were putting up.
Yeah.
Well, I had the same thing with do you remember the Dark Knight game that came out where everyone was bugging the shit out? Like most
Arkham City or one of those ones?
No, it was Arkham Knight. It was the last one.
I didn't play. I played.
It was
the last
awesome.
two.
I loved it. Arkham City was great. Arkham Knight I liked a lot, but it was notorious for having a horrible launch because people were having those problems that you're saying.
Yeah.
I never had an issue with it. It ran fine on my PC. It was amazing.
That comes down. I guess
It was awesome.
I was gonna say it comes down to like how games are built right now because it's always not fully developed. It's like
They rush them out.
it's like you're paying full price for something that's still being fixed.
Yeah.
They're like, oh well,
It's
here
like
it
everything's
is.
in beta almost all
Yeah.
the time.
But that's the thing is like if you played any of the Bethesda stuff on PC,
All of them, except for Oblivion.
everyone has a fucking day one like a unofficial patch. They usually called like to the top downloaded thing on the Nexus, unofficial patch, and it fixed all the quests because they don't have the time. They're moving on. Developers. I mean, that's why 76 failed because they moved all developers off in progress. What used to happen was they would release it, go, oh fuck, and then like release one patch, and they wouldn't have the time, to go back there, which is unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
But who cares? If it's not game breaking, it's just funny. It's a welcome surprise because it's an open world game. It's so immersive. You're like getting chased by a ghoul in a subway, and then you just fall through the floor and die. Like it's funny. It's like
It is. Yeah, it is funny because even if it's insanely frustrating, you laugh at how angry you are at the fucking thing.
yeah. It's like it's
definitely.
As long as you can continue forward.
that's
that's the thing. If you keep spawning at that point where you're dying,
that's
a problem.
That's unfortunate.
That's when it's an issue.
to put it lightly.
But that's the thing I think I learned. Okay, but fair. We learned this from doing other types of work. Save.
Mm-hmm.
There's people out there that don't even know that there's anything besides an autosave.
I know.
And then they go, oh, fuck, Arthur Morgan got stuck in a lake and now Red Dead sucks. It's like, dude, you don't have any
Never
save
save.
files. Like,
Yeah. I know. I save religiously. I save. I'll walk away and I'll be like, I should save that. And I go back and I save again.
I've done stupid shit where I go and I go to jump off a ledge and I save it while I'm jumping off a ledge. And when you load it, you're just
suicide.
dying every time.
You're like, this fall might kill
I'm
me.
like,
So
well, this is
I should
great.
save.
It's funny because
It worked.
saving also has become exploits for certain games. So like, what was it? Did you guys play Skate?
No.
Really?
Is that a skating game?
Rollerblades, actually.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you play Skate?
no, I
Is
have
that
no
Dreamcast?
desire to play that.
Was that?
Is that Dreamcast?
Is that with an 8?
No.
Skate with an 8?
Skate like for PS.
But the title had an 8 in
three.
it, didn't it?
No, it's
Oh,
KAT.
What the fuck am I thinking of?
It was Tony Hawk had his franchise of skateboarding games.
Right.
Oh, was it skateboarding?
Yeah,
That's what
you
you
EA's.
said rollerblading.
I was joking. Are you serious?
I thought you were serious.
I played a lot. I played a lot of the
Dave Mirra
Oh, I definitely played.
You
Dave
guys never
Mirra.
played
with the Slim
Skate?
Jim man.
I don't know if I
No.
played I don't know.
So
Maybe.
So Skate was Tony Hawk had like a hold on the skateboarding games. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 was huge.
I think I played one that didn't involve Tony Hawk.
Yeah, so it was the difference was it wasn't button commands. You were using the analog sticks to flip the board.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't remember.
So
that
doing
part.
ollie, you had to like
That's what SSX was kind of like too. When you
Was
were in
it?
the air, yeah, you use the analogs to kind of do the tricks. You had to combine it
Yeah.
with like you would hold square, and that would put you in that mode, and then you would.
So I think
Yeah.
this was rotational was the left stick, if I remember correctly, and then right stick was your moves. So like, I don't know if you guys ever played Street Fighter or like
Oh, way back in the day.
yeah.
Okay, like you know what a quarter rotation is or any of that stuff.
No.
Charge attacks. Okay, so, God damn. Like in Street Fighter, half the moves are triggered by used to be on an arcade cabinet, a joystick move.
Yeah.
They couldn't program it all in. There wasn't enough buttons.
Gotcha.
So like to do a grab with Zangief, you're going to do a big circle and a punch, right? So Skate did that with skateboard mode. So you would like to do a kickflip, you would like go down and then to the right. To do a heel flip, you go down to the left. So it was this really like physical.
Did you play that Jet Li game? What was it?
Rise to Honor?
Yeah.
I played the shit out of that.
That was a fun.
That was like that
game.
too. That fought like that.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You would like
exactly. It was weird to get used to.
It was hard.
It was hard. I liked it a lot though.
Well, I was saying
You never played it?
That doesn't justify the skate, okay?
No, but we're talking about it's the same.
it's like analog.
Yeah,
stick.
no, yeah. It's based on the analog angling. Yeah.
The only reason
That was a great game.
The reason I brought it up is because
I'm a master.
you could glitch it out from the save file. So what you would do is you would remember in Tony Hawk, like you would be like, I want to do a line. I want to do a grind on this bowl and then hit this ramp or whatever. Like,
remember that?
What?
I killed that girl. She fell through the floor. I'm going to do a line.
You gotta cut that together, and then you just have me sniffing.
We gotta get a bunch of our faces disgusted, like Tom Hanks, like just place that in.
So you had to like go back to that part of the map. So skate let you save your spot. You could say, okay, I'm gonna do a line
because you want to keep attempting it.
Yeah. So my starting spot's the top of the stairs. So I'll lie down the stairs, then grind this rail, whatever. So if you saved it, it would put you at that point. But the game was smart enough to say if you saved a point that you recalled and you like immediately fell over, like you said, jumping out of a window and dying, it would raise you up about 2 inches in the game. So the idea was if I'm on my little skateboard, my phone's my skateboard here, and like I load into the game and it's on top of like a curb and I just like eat shit and die. The idea of the game is that it will raise me up a little bit and then I'll be able to just like ease it out.
Oh, okay.
So it's like an active, it's easy.
It's a buffer, like a handle where you
Like just a preset, kind of like a preset before you load in, kind of thing.
To like prevent stupid deaths or like bails.
Which I think all games should be like that.
Little buffer.
Like,
instead of allowing you to do something stupid, it'll be like, well, we're gonna push you back this far.
Give you a little head start chance.
Well, the funny part was that the code allowed you to gain every time if you kept falling, so you attempted to bail. It was hard to start it. You had to like immediately, like as soon as you spawn, throw a trick and like fall over and bail. Each time it would raise you another 2 inches. So we just do it for like an hour and then you're like 20 feet in the air. So your guy's spawning in from 20 feet in the air just dying. So we would use it, like you could use it with clipping to glitch into new spots to skate. So we'd be like, we want to skate that roof in the game. The second game added like
keep stacking it.
Getting off your board and you could like walk, but the first game you had to be on the board. So we're like, you can't just like get off and climb a building to skate it. So we're like, we want to use that building. We would go underneath or next to it or something, next to an awning, fall for like 45 minutes until same thing, your head gets caught in it. And then your head would get ripped off and like you would just like, not off, it would like spin and twist.
Yeah.
And then
glitchy.
And then it realized the game's like, I can't spawn you in the awning. You were going to glitch. So it just puts you on top of the awning and now you're on top of the building.
It's like, well, your head went to the floor, so you're going to go up here now.
So is it just an offset value or does it actually take into account the situation?
It's offsetting you for bailing in the same spot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So every time you bail, it puts you 2 inches more essential or 2 feet higher.
I see what you're saying.
So it just constantly stack.
There's probably still videos online of people doing it, but like we would do it. You could upload clips in that game. This is the big thing. Is one of the first games you could upload. Shut the fuck up. You could upload clips online to this like Xbox's like skate server that anyone in like your region could watch them. And we would post videos of us doing tricks off of places that weren't in the game. They're like, how the fuck did you get up there? And then we would post videos of in slow-mo of our heads like twisting off, your arms like turning into spaghetti and like, it was great.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Like,
this is us.
It works for, the developers aren't going to be mad about it. They're like, oh, cool, you figured it out. Like, if you're breaking the game with everything that they gave you for the game, that's fine.
Well, it keeps people playing it.
Yeah, but if you're
at
like,
the end of the day,
if you're running cheats in the background to let you no-scope people from 500 feet away, that's kind of bullshit.
You have an advantage, but what you were just describing is more of it's just a fun. It's not harmful to anybody.
You're using what they gave you.
Yeah.
You didn't add anything. You're just doing what you can do.
And you're pointing out vulnerabilities in there if I can design too.
Well, funny. It's like a test. It's like
it's beta testing for the final product.
Most
essentially.
Most studios when they finish a game, I know Bethesda does, a lot of other studios do too. What they do when they finish is they'll have a speedrunning competition. and all the developers will get together and try to see how quick they can finish the main storyline, which usually involves breaking the game.
Right.
So like in Skyrim, when you start off and like the dragon like blows, fire in your face, you can jump out of that area by like triple jumping and quick saving and then like just end up in the final boss fight.
That's so cheap.
But that's the thing is like I don't know what the speed run, actually, you want to guess?
Of Skyrim?
Yeah,
like the main line?
Yeah, what do you think is the record for speed run?
8 hours.
I don't know. Do you know what the typical
8 hours. Just guess it. 8 hours.
No. It's not 8 hours. It's going to be
speed run.
It's going to be.
I found it. You're gonna have to guess though.
Is he in the ballpark?
Yeah,
Will you tell me?
Do you want to know first what the actual campaign?
That's what
takes?
I was going to ask
Okay,
you.
so
Yeah, I need a.
I can give you that for this part.
No,
Thanks.
don't give him any ammunition.
I don't know how long the game is.
Don't give him a grenade in a
I never
gunfight.
finished it. That's what you do. You throw me grenades, and I catch them and I toss them back.
You bite them.
So the whole game, main quest only, so no side quests, can take between 15 and 30 hours.
All right, so yeah, I'm going to say 7.
The speedrun record right now is 1 hour and 12 minutes.
Jesus fuck.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
So they're finding ways to really get through that.
No side quests, just fucking all main missions.
Well, if you said the main is like 15 hours.
So usually what they do is there's triggers. So there's triggers in the game that will start so like say, I'm trying to think if I can remember any specifics in the Skyrim questline. Basically, like if you go to a certain area in a lot of games, it will automatically trigger an event, which pushes you, like you can skip. So let's say like the beginning of Skyrim, you have to exit Helgen and then go to the main Riverdale.
Riverdale?
Yeah.
Is that a show?
It is.
River Run.
River Run.
River Run.
So
I
you
can't believe it.
like the real storyline, you have to do that, right?
Yeah.
But if I glitch myself into a special storyline area that just starts the 17th quest in the main storyline.
Oh, okay. So you're jumping.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's a speed run. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you watch them, they're hilarious because it's just like some guy running and then jumping and falling. And then all of a sudden he's like in a new area.
I thought you meant playing fair. That's bullshit.
Oh, no.
That's the whole idea.
Speed running is like going past the time.
That's some horseshit.
What's unnecessary.
The whole idea is to break the game.
Yeah.
Like
you want to push past where you can like not deal with half the shit.
But figure also it's good for development teams do it when they're done because then they can say, okay, we heard that this beta tester said that if he quick saves 3 times against a wall, he gets teleported to a different area, right? Yeah. Or whatever the fuck. So then these people will say, okay, we don't have time to fix it for the game. We'll have a day 1 patch or whatever, or maybe we won't patch it. It's an integral part of the game for that to be able to happen. Mm-hmm. And they're breaking, it's the guys that made the game breaking on purpose to go like, okay, it still works in the end of the day. I can still complete the main
quest. Because I know that there was a guy who speed runs The Last of Us and there's like a particular moment where the average player, it's like an hour because you're trying to figure it out. This dude does it in like a minute.
There's a guy that can speed run most games. There's always a guy that's.
But what I'm saying, my example here is that he's not breaking it. He just knows how the characters react in that moment, and he knows where to go and what their vulnerabilities are.
Does he micro?
He times it.
Does he micro it, or does he do it like manually?
What do you mean?
This Left 4 Dead?
Is it
Last of Us?
Is it like a computer or console?
You can do it on both. He does it on console though.
Is this the guy I saw that was doing like the perfect arrow shoot through?
It could be.
I saw a video recently where some guy was doing like what the theatrical version would be, and he's going around with it like bow and arrow. And
he's not cheating it though. Like he's not bullshitting it. He's not breaking anything. He just knows exactly how.
He's just playing.
But it's very time based. It's like a fluid. It's like a live talk show. The way that they move shit around just in time perfectly.
There's a term for that. So it comes up more in multiplayer games, but it's the biggest. It's why people are good at multiplayer games. I'm sure you've heard the term like map knowledge. There's a couple of procedurally generated games where like no one can learn the map, right? Very few. But if you're playing like Warzone, they had that map active for what, like 2 years now? They might update a few things here and there. Those guys know the little hidey fucking
That's the problem.
They know everything.
That's the problem.
Every little nick and corny, like,
that's what ruined
it. If I come over next to this rock and just fucking prone, I could fucking, okay, here we go. And from here.
They get to a point where they can look at you. Like there could be a sniper watching you, seeing you running, going, "Oh yeah, he's gonna go over there next," and then my boys are gonna go. Like it's
they know, yeah. They don't change it up enough.
The map knowledge is the problem with that.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm like torn on it because it's like I want to play a new game, okay, right? Now I have to. Everyone else I'm playing with knows the map better than me. I'm day 1, right? So now I have to learn it from either failing and dying and dying and dying and dying, or watching Joey Fuckface's YouTube video where he's like 10 best spots to hide in Warzone this season. Let's get going, guys. And I'm like, I don't want to have to do my research. Like,
yeah. That's like my example. It's a linear story driven game, so there's none of that shit. It's just like, and I just was like surprised, like, oh shit, because I play through games without any knowledge for the most part, because I want to play it. I want to figure it out myself. I have that knack of wanting to figure shit out. And then I watch it, I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. It took me like an hour to 2 hours to do that shit, and he did it in a minute.
I would rather do that, though. I don't want to be perfect.
No, I agree. It's just impressive to me when someone figures it out and they're not breaking anything. They're just like, this is what you do. And then it's like, oh shit. It's kind of like fascinating.
Well, PvE versus PvP.
It's huge. Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Huge difference. Because when it's PvP,
I think it's bullshit.
There's one asshole that knows everything.
Of course.
And it's like,
more frustrating.
It's like Guild Wars 1, where like the new MMOs, you can jump in and play with anybody because they'll level cap it accordingly.
Yeah.
But in the old days, I would play with him, or he'd play with me, vice versa, and I'd be leveled up to 80 and he'd be level 1, and I'd kill everything and I'd get the experience or whatever.
Right.
Or I'd go in and I'd kill everything in one hit and I'd get no experience.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit.
Well, even I saw a video of some guy playing one of the new Hitman games, which I used to always remember. Hitman was like a dance. It was like single player, like Last of Us. You had to go you could do it all silent. You could go in there loud and just start lighting people
Max
up.
Payne was like that.
Yeah. You'd learn where the guard rotations were. You'd learn where everything was. Some guy did a mission in the new Hitman where he walks in, he turns up and around with the silenced pistol. He shoots twice. It says mission completed, and then he walks out.
Exactly. Yeah.
He shoots like two guys in like up their asshole through their dick, and like,
It's kind of shitty though, because once you know that, it kind of takes the whole thrill out of it.
I guess if you played it enough because you kept failing enough, eventually you're gonna know what it is, because it's the same repetitive thing versus things that change up every time you spawn in.
How do they figure this shit out? Are they experimenting, or where does that come
You're saying
from?
exploits like that?
Yeah, like anything like that. Like any speed shit that people figure out, they obviously have to figure it out.
So, I mean,
Where do you think that comes from? I'm sure it varies. But.
So I would normally say like, oh, it takes time. People play and play and play, and they find it by accident, and then they tell their friends, right?
That's what I would think.
But perfect example, like I was playing Siege. Remember when Siege did the World Series? It was like they had a special map in a soccer stadium, and it was like a one-off. That map never came out before then. It was based on a different map. It looked completely different. So everyone was coming in fresh. Everyone that played the game didn't know the map, didn't know like what layout was. It was only up for like 7 days, I want to say. 7 to 10 days, right? So you could play it for that time period, unlock special rewards. I think day 4 I was playing. So this must have been some guy playing a lot because he knew this. This guy comes up to me. I was playing, do you know Pulse? Do you remember Pulse?
Yeah.
Pulse is like, he has his gadget is he has a little heartbeat sensor. So if you're through a wall, I can hold it up and see you through the wall.
He knows you're there.
Yeah. But he also had like, you could choose like C4 explosives.
Yeah.
This guy's like, hey, Pulse, you want to see a trick? And I was like, what? This is like the 4 days into a limited event. He's like, that vent in the ceiling, right? He's like, throw your C4 up there. Use your heartbeat sensor. They're going to spawn right above that. When they come down and land on the rooftop, hit the button. It's going to kill them. I'm like, this is not going to work. Guy comes down, double kill. And that game's a five-man crew. So now they're down to 3 versus 5. So I mean, I think it's just that guy could have been either really clever and knew how the game worked. He could have been like, okay, all the developer would have to do is just block that area from my explosion.
Yeah.
But it was for the vent hole was for the little robots.
The bots you start off with.
So it has to be an open hole for the robots. So maybe either that guy was super clever and knew how the physics in that game worked. Okay, any exit area can become, because the explosion is only coming out about like a 2 foot wide gap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The C4 is next to that. So the explosion is just like shooting out like a fart into this guy's legs and instantly killing him. Or he was playing for so long that someone did it to him.
Yeah.
Right? So,
but they had to figure that out, unless it was an accident, which I'm sure a lot of accidents happen. And then they're like, what was that? Let me play with that.
I mean, maybe one of the developers got in there and they were like, I'm going to kill this guy from here.
I've definitely found, I've found tactics in multiplayer games that I'll find it and I'll go, oh, I got to try this again. And then it works out.
And then you keep doing it. Yeah.
And then someone steals it from you and has a better one. But that that was an exploit. That was like, they are not, I mean, granted, after we did it, the first time I got those 2 kills, no one was spawning at that point anymore. They were spawning across the map. So they knew we could put bombs in the floor. But that's not part of the meta or the mechanic of that game. Like,
it's pretty impressive when you see like how many people, like how adaptive and how smart people can be, even in useless ways.
But you're thinking like you're thinking in a context of like a game.
I know
it's not real physics.
No, right? I know.
Yeah.
But the ability of people to adapt and to learn, it's pretty wild.
Listen, when there's respawn,
yeah.
It's just wild.
If you're able to go back into a game and do it all over again, it's like a completely different story because you have knowledge that you can build. But it's like, if you're in the real world situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, like, if you could apply that shit to real life situations, imagine where we'd be.
Right.
Everyone's in the game being smart. It's like,
like using their power. We could be solving cancer right now.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of X-Men working at Burger King. Like, that's the end of that story.
It's way more fun, though. I'm trying to think.
Of course it is.
I mean, have you guys ever found any exploits in games like that?
I've only ever had weird glitches, but nothing that could be repeated.
Like used?
Yeah. We played Uncharted online once, and my friend Chris got stuck in the wall, and he could kill people, but they couldn't hit him. So all you saw was his gun sticking out of the wall, and he was just floating on his screen. He was like in that weird like no clipping zone where everything's all fucked, and you can see the sky like infinitely.
Yeah.
But when from our point of view, all you saw was this gun like sticking out of the wall, and he could like move this way, and that was it. And he was killing people,
and he was like invincible.
And he was invincible, but everyone was trying to gun him down. It was a death match, so he was just fucking taking everybody out when they ran by. It was hilarious. But I think what happened was he died, and he died in a weird way. He might have fell off a cliff, or he was trying to swing across this like whatever, and he died, and he was falling to his death, and then he respawned falling into the wall.
Like spawned in the skybox and then just fell through.
And was in the wall. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
I'm trying to think of this.
It was hilarious.
I mean,
in our favor, thank God.
If it was perfect though, like I probably wouldn't want to play it.
No.
I mean, how well? Yeah, how far you think we're from perfect game?
Perfect in linear story mode, yeah, but online. Open world, I don't want perfection because I don't expect perfection in an open world because it's such an endeavor alone to do a game like that, to make a game like that. It's insane.
That's why I was saying like you didn't play the story mode for Call of Duty, but those are they call them on rails shooters.
Yeah,
it's like a movie, and then they let you like pew pew sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not a huge first person shooter. I don't know.
Single player
story. Yeah, like Medal of Honor, like the old Medal of Honors. Like I used to play them, but I'm not a huge fan of the first. Like I want third person, interesting story. Like God of War was a perfect example. I like Naughty Dog because of that. Like I want to see the character. I don't want to be the character in that type of setting.